All right, hey guys, how's it going? It's Joy. I'm back again with another video. I hope that you guys are doing well and staying safe, right? So it is a Sunday and I am alive. And yeah, we're just gonna get right into it. If this is you guys' first time watching me, I am a narcissist abuse coach. I'm also a spiritual teacher, and I've dealt with narcissists for quite some time. And technically, since 2006, that's when I moved in with my aunt. So, yeah, and then since 2016, I've been helping people heal, move on, and recover after dealing with narcissistic abuse. So, I have different topics today that I wanted to share with you guys, and please feel free to chime in. Let me know if this is something that you deal with, if you've dealt with it in the past or now, or, this is also just good just for future references, you know. But today I wanted to talk about how to stop over apologizing. And I can tell you that I have done this many times. And sometimes I do catch myself, saying sorry when it's not needed or necessary. And maybe some of you guys may do this too. And again, I did get this from the brain coach. Definitely check her out on Instagram. Super good source. But yeah, I think that, really correcting that and understanding that you don't always have to say sorry in certain instances. Like, there may be some times where you do have to apologize, and then there's sometimes where you could be maybe overdoing it. And so this video is just to kind of help you come up with some other phrases and other ways that you can not keep saying I'm sorry all the time. And you guys know what's funny is that back in, I think, what was it, 2010, when I started dealing with the narcissist, I would say sorry all like a whole bunch of times. And you guys know what he would tell me? He'd be like, stop saying sorry all the time, And I didn't understand it, and I don't know why I did it at the time. But I think that maybe sometimes we may just say sorry because we just want to be perfect, or we want everything to go right, or we don't want to look as if, oh, we made a mistake or whatever. But I'm here to tell you that you're gonna make mistakes, and you can't stop the inevitable. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the phrases or the other responses that you can say instead of saying I'm sorry all the time. So the first one you could say is so usually if you're the type of person that's always saying sorry, so you may say I'm sorry, could you say that again? So instead of saying that, now you can say, could you repeat that please, instead of saying I'm sorry, right? So the next one you can also say, or something that you might say all the time is, sorry, I'm talking so much. And that's something that I used to say a lot, because I feel like I talk a lot, but then sometimes I don't. But I think, like, once I get comfortable, then I just keep talking over and over. And then I think sometimes I might be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm talking so much, and it's just like, you don't really have to say that. You know what I mean? Um, but anyway, you can just say to the person, like, I really appreciate you listening. You could say something like that to the person that is listening to you. All right. And then something that you might say also is, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Right. Maybe if somebody criticizes or maybe has feedback for you, or a suggestion or an opinion, or whatever the case is, then you could say, I really appreciate you. Thanks for pointing that out. So that's something that you can say. If you might normally say, I'm sorry, I didn't see that, you can say, thanks for pointing that out. All right, the next thing is that we might say is, sorry to be annoying with this. And instead of saying that, you could say, thanks for helping me out with this. Right? That sounds better, right? So I hope that makes sense. And the next one I wanted to talk about, you guys, is family boundary violations. And I think this is really big because I feel like sometimes we do go through a period in our life where we can experience some sort of family boundary violations. And I could say, from my own personal experience, this has definitely been something that I've been dealing with in my own personal family, especially like with my dad, mainly like my dad's side of the family. And because his side of the family was a lot bigger than my mom's side, and it seems as if, everybody was kind of like in everybody's business and just gossiping and talking whatever about the next family member or the other person, and it was normal. It was a normal thing. And for me, I only had one brother. Well, technically had two, but the oldest one, I really didn't grow up with him. And even to this day, we don't really talk as much. But as far as my middle brother, the one unfortunately that did pass away, him and I, we were close, but then we kind of grew apart. But then before he ended up dying, we actually became close. But I don't really remember us gossiping about each other like that, or um, I don't know. It was different. I know, like, he would like say little things to like his girlfriend about me, but it wasn't like how, I don't know. I guess the way that my dad grew was a little different. He had like, let's see, four aunts, five uncles. Oh, excuse me. I said four aunts and five uncles. My bad. He had, I'm saying as if it was me, he had four sisters and five brothers, right? And so, yeah, and it was chaotic. It was crazy. And, they lived in a neighborhood where it wasn't, I guess, so great or whatever the case was, but they made do with what they had, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, and it was a lot of bullying, it was a lot of drama, it was a lot of chaos, it was a lot of fighting, it was a lot of arguing, which is something that I personally don't care for, and I'm not used to, and that's not something that I deal with, so, but apparently, like, my dad is used to that. He's dealt with that, and it's normal for him. So, but anyway, but when it comes to the family boundary violations, what I'm about to read to you guys is something that I have gone through, and I'm definitely working through this and really understanding, you know, um, my boundaries, and, keeping my distance, and, just kind of, in a sense, detaching, if that makes sense. And it feels better for me. It feels good because it's like I know what's right for me, and I know the type of environment that I want to have, and I know that I want peace of mind, and I don't like the fighting and the arguing and the chaos and all that stuff. So anyway, so let's go ahead and get into the family boundary violation, and let's see what it sounds like. So the first family boundary violation could be is if a family member is forcing their beliefs on you. Now, this is something that we're going to talk about later, which is the Narc parent, and as well as in-laws. This is something that they actually do as well. But yes, just a regular family dynamic, or it could be a dysfunctional family dynamic, or toxic, or, just maybe it could be unhealthy, and this can happen. And I could also say that my aunt actually tried to do this to me. She tried to force her beliefs onto me. Of course, it didn't work, but that's something that she wanted to do. All right, so the next one is gossip with you about another family member. Now, as I told you earlier, the way that my dad grew, he had four sisters and five brothers, and they all lived in one. I don't know how many bedrooms they had, but it wasn't that many bedrooms. And so some of them had to sleep in the same bed. This is like when they was younger. But, so it was a lot going on. And even like waking up in the morning, getting ready for school or getting ready for work. It was a lot going on, And so, yeah, he had to deal with a lot. But anyway, so, and just going back real quick, I do remember like when my grandma was alive, which is my dad's mom, she would gossip a lot about other family members. And I used to think like that is just the weirdest thing. But I think that is how they grew, and it just, they never stopped doing it. And I never understood it. So, but anyway, But yeah, this is what a family boundary violation is like. And please feel free, you guys, if you want to chime in and say if you experienced this or whatever the case is. If you guys want to ask me any questions, please feel free to do so. But anyway, the next family boundary violation is a family member is disrespecting your partner. Now, again, this is actually something that not only a narcissistic parent or a mother-in-law or father-in-law will do, but this could also happen in any toxic or dysfunctional, unhealthy family dynamic as well. But this is something that is very, very common. All right, the next one is expecting you to spend all of your time with them. So some parents that are just control freaks and they just want to, they just selfish and they just need all of that attention, need all of that supply. They want to make everything about them. Then this is something that you can expect to happen, and this is a family boundary violation. So just be on the lookout and understand this as well. Right. And the next one is receiving unwanted advice on how you should live your life. Once again, this is something that I dealt with my aunt that is a narcissist when I used to live in California. That is something that I experienced, and it wasn't a good feeling. It really wasn't. It felt like she was just trying to assert her power and assert her control over me, as if I didn't have the right to think for myself or I didn't have the right to make my own decisions, and that what she said was better over what I just have, in a sense, have a right to, explore and do things according to how I want to do it. Not saying that it was right or wrong, but it's just like I can listen to what she's saying, but I don't necessarily have to do it, if that makes sense, right? And I can also tell you guys a time when I'll never forget this, when I used to live with my aunt at the time. And I remember she was trying to give me some advice on, I think something about the school. She didn't want me to move out, right? She was like, oh, well, you should go to a school that's closer to where we live at, because you don't have to take that commute, and you shouldn't have to drive that far, you know what I mean? And I was only going to the school that was a further distance because it had the specific major that I wanted to major in, right, which was music at the time. And she was just like, oh, no, I don't really think you should do that. You should just go to the school over here, which I think at the time, how far was it? It wasn't that far. I think it was like maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And she's like, yeah, you should major in this other field here. And I was like, I understand where you're coming from, but that's not really something that I want to do. And I remember telling her this, you guys. I was like, I appreciate your advice. I hear what you're saying, but that's not something that I want to do. You know what I mean? And then she just was not trying to hear that. She didn't want to back down or anything. And I'm just like, oh my God, like she's just really asserting herself, just like it was a boundary violation, And I didn't know that that's what it was at the time. But looking back, I'm like, wow, that's just really crazy. So yeah, but and then the next one is, you guys, is repeatedly, and you guys, let me know if you dealt with this, because I know I have. I'm just saying. Is repeatedly being inquired about when you are, what did I put? Having a child or getting married or something. Is that what it says? Hold on, let me just check on that. I think that's what it was. Yeah, repeatedly being inquired about when you are getting married or having a child. And for some people, that can be very annoying, because you're just living your life and you could be like, well, I have a certain timeline when I want to do all this. And, maybe your mom or your dad, or it could be an in-law, could be like pressuring you guys to have children or to get married quickly. And that is something, that is a blessing to be able to experience that. But it's like, if you are not ready, then you should not be getting pressured or constantly being asked that question when it's going to happen. And I could honestly tell you guys, this is something that, my dad and his, I guess, friend or girlfriend, whatever, are always talking to me about this all the time. And I'm just thinking like, well, it's really not your business. I mean, I understand, because the thing is with my dad is because he's a lot older. He's like, oh, I want to have some grandkids. And I'm like, Dad, I understand. I totally understand. But, don't rush it, because I'm at the end of the day, it's not your kid, it's mine. You know what I mean? And so I have to deal with that. You know what I mean? So, just if you just want to, just you have to stand up for yourself and tell them like, hey, like either one, like don't like I'm not really feeling comfortable with talking about this right now, or you don't have to continuously keep asking me. I heard what you said. I know that that's what you want, but this is what I'm doing, and you just need to like respect that, or you need to just understand that it's not going to go your way. You know what I mean? And some parents may not want to hear that, or in-laws may not want to hear that, but that's just what it is. And it's very uncomfortable to to talk like that to, I guess, quote unquote adult figures or whatever. But sometimes you just have to be honest and speak up and stand up for yourself, right? So the next one this is another big one. Oh my gosh, you guys. Receiving rude and unsolicited comments on your appearance, or this could be on your weight. And I'm not sure. And thank y'all for the like. And chime in, y'all. Let me know who's in the room, where you guys are from, all that good stuff. And if you guys have not, make sure that you do like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, or leave any topics you guys want to learn about in regards to dealing with narcissistic abuse. And Lotto Energy, lovely Teresa Sunshine Lotto Energy. Hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome. So, and like I said, you guys chime in if you guys want to add anything on any of the topics that I said. I would love to hear your feedback, any suggestions that you guys have. Okay, so yeah, receiving rude and unsolicited comment on your appearance. Now, again, I'm not sure if this was just something that my dad and my uncle have just grew up around, and that's just the way that things were. People would say things like, oh, why do your shoes look like that? Or why are you gaining weight? Or, why does your hair look like that? Or why does your shirt look like that? And it's just like, and the thing is, it's like, it's really unnecessary and it's unwanted. But unfortunately, my dad and my uncle, I don't know. I guess that's just how they grew. I'm not sure why. I don't know why they think that that's okay to say or do it. I'm not bashing parents, or I'm not bashing older, our authority figures or whatever, our parents, all that stuff, in-laws. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just saying, like, I feel like the older generation, they know what's right and wrong, but I think maybe because they're older in age, they just feel like, hey, they don't care anymore. They're just going to say and do whatever it is that they want. But, you just have to like just be honest, and you just have to be self-assured and assertive with your communication. And if somebody says like, a rude comment or something like that, you just have to be ready to check them and to let them know like that's unacceptable, it's inappropriate, and I would appreciate if you didn't say that anymore, stuff like that, and or some people can be like, hey, just don't give them any response, just walk away or whatever. Yeah, that's fine if you feel like you're not going to see them, but it's like, this is your family, then you might have to just say like, hey, I didn't grow up like that. I didn't, that's not normal for me. So I would appreciate it if you wouldn't say that, something like that. And it might make them feel really uncomfortable, but it's just like, you're going to keep going through that and you feel uncomfortable, and they're thinking like, oh, I'm used to this. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, that's not normal. You shouldn't. If I'm seeing you, for one, if I haven't seen you in a long while, why is the first thing out of your mouth, oh, did you gain weight or did you pick up some weight? It's like, if I did, okay, then what's the big deal? What if I want to have some weight on me, So, and lovely Teresa Sunshine Lotto, you say healing the inner child. It's not okay. It's not okay. You're a generational curse breaker, stronger and better. Oh, thank you. You too, Teresa. Yes, I actually I'm reading a book now. Let me grab it right now. It's called The Inner Child Workbook. It's actually a really, really good book. And it talks about what to do with your past when it just won't go away. Super, super nice book so far. I think, what page am I on? Page 48. And it's about, how many pages? 246 pages, but it's so far so good. It just talks really about, your inner child and how to work through any wounds that you may be feeling. And it also talks about the different childs that we have within us. And I didn't even recognize this until I read this book. It said, like, it's not just one inner child, but it talks about your infant self. It talks about, the toddler self. And then it talks about, you know, uh, the young adult self and adolescence, and then it eventually goes to the adult. But it's like, it talks about, like, literally your infant self, and then it goes to like 2 years old, 5 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old. So it's like different individual children you have to heal, because different stages and different parts in your life, you were traumatized, or you were hurt, or you felt abandoned, or you felt rejected, or that type of stuff. So it's like individually in each chapter, it talks about how to heal each one of those children that are living inside of us. But I'll definitely make a video on that, lovely Teresa. But yeah, the inner child is really precious, and they're inside of all of us, and they want to be loved and cared for and taken care of. And that's our job, our individual jobs, to make sure that we do heal our inner children. And yeah, they need our love. But that all starts with us loving and learning how to love ourselves, right? But yeah, moving on. So the next one is the last one, actually, is expecting you to pick sides between two family members. Now, again, this is actually something that is common in toxic households or dysfunctional households, unhealthy, or it could be a narcissistic family cult, or whatever the case is. And you could be expected to pick sides and understand that this is actually a family boundary violation, because in a normal healthy family dynamic, nobody is picking sides. Like, hey, it's a family, like, you know what I mean? So nobody should feel like, oh, I have to be on this person's side and I have to not be on this other person's side. And the crazy part about it, I remember when I used to live with my aunt, so like her two sons will always get into it. And it was crazy. Like, I got along with the oldest son. Like, he was a Taurus just like me. And then the youngest son, he was a Scorpio. So we was kind of different. It's like different signs. And even my dad is actually a Scorpio. So I understand like why our relationship is kind of we're opposite. But anyway, so but yeah, I remember my aunt telling me, she was like, yeah, Joy, she was like, you don't want to pick any sides, because she was like, they're brothers, they're gonna end up getting back with each other anyway, or making up. And I'm thinking, like, was she trying to, throw it out there like I should pick a side? I'm like, no, I don't do that. But again, that's a family boundary violation, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, I hope that this was a helpful video. I also just wanted to talk about Narc parents and Narc in-laws in general. And I can tell you that they are very controlling, and they want to influence you, and not necessarily in the best way for your best interest. It's really for their own selfish interests. So do keep that in mind. And if this is a dynamic where you are you're in a relationship with your partner that could have a Narc mother or a Narc father, you have to understand that this parent does not want you with their child. They want to break up the relationship. They want to control you. They want to basically get rid of you because that Narc mother or Narc mother-in-law or father-in-law they're used to being in control. They're used to having all the attention on them. They're used to their child like worshiping them and having all the focus on them. And then when you come into the picture, it takes the focus off of them. And that narc mother-in-law or narc father-in-law, they don't like that, you know. And so they're literally going to be trying to sabotage your relationship. They're going to be trying to break up the relationship. And you're going to be wondering like what's going on. And especially, you know, if your partner is not understanding it, or maybe they don't care to see like what their parents are doing, then you have a problem. Because the only way that that relationship is going to work is if your partner or the spouse is able to recognize what's happening in the relationship, and they can stand up to the mother-in-law or the father-in-law, or they can speak out and they can protect the relationship and have boundaries and say like, hey mom, or hey dad, I love this, my wife or my girlfriend or my boyfriend or whatever, and there's nothing that you can say or do that's gonna, you know, break us up. We love each other, we want to be with each other, and if you don't like it, blah blah blah. But then you have some people that may not be that courageous enough or that brave enough to say that, you know, and so that's probably going to lead to the demise of the relationship. But I could tell you that if the partner or the spouse is not speaking up, then it's best for you to just leave, because it's not going to get any better. And then if there is a child involved, then it's only going to make it worse. Because what that narc mother or father is going to do is to turn, when that kid is born and the kid gets old enough to understand, that parent or the parents is going to turn that child and make that child not like you anymore, and make the child worship the narc parents, right? And that's not a situation you want to be in. And I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. I'm just, you know, just things that I've learned in my situation, in my life experience, and I just share it with you guys. But yeah, I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you guys learn a lot, you know, understanding, you know, not apologizing all the time. And again, this is not, you know, to bash anybody or point the fingers. It's none of that. It's just really awareness. It's about educating ourselves and understanding how we can, you know, show up better in the world and relate to other and communicate better with others and even to ourselves, right? But, you know, no over apologizing, you know, recognizing the family boundaries and the violations. And if you are having a violation, you feel like something's being violated, then speak up in a calm manner. Just, you know, you want to get your thoughts right. If you have to take some deep breaths, please feel free to do that. You know, breathe in, breathe out, maybe 10 times or whatever. And then just speak calmly and just speak directly with, try to get the emotions out of the picture. But, you know, just be honest and say, hey, this is not acceptable. I would appreciate it if you didn't say that. Or, hey, that didn't really feel nice. I would appreciate it if you don't say that anymore. Or, you know, just say it in your own words. And yeah, and just be prepared. It may not be received so well, but understand that you had good intentions. And if somebody asks you, well, why, we all talk to each other like that, we'll just say, hey, you know what? Yeah, that's just not something that I'm used to. And I don't really feel comfortable being talked to like that, you know, and I'm not used to it. And I that's not something that I want to surround myself with. You have to make that decision for yourself, if that makes sense. So anyway, you guys, I don't want to keep drawing this out too long. But anyway, give this video a like, share, and subscribe. I hope that you enjoyed it. And again, continue to keep leaving me topics, you guys, on videos that you want me to talk about. And I'll go from there. Oh, and then the last thing I forgot to mention. So you guys remember when I did that community board post when I talked about if what you guys thought if I was to write a book or make an ebook. So I actually did just finish the book, which I'm really excited about. And I'm going to be releasing it. It's not this week, but I want to say it will be It will be either the 17th or the 24th. So be on the lookout for that. I'm really excited. I hope that you guys are really going to like it and enjoy it. I basically share my experience dealing with narcissistic abuse. And I hope that that book can actually help many of you that are watching and just give you some advice, guidance, and support, and some encouragement and some empowerment for your life to be able to heal, move on, and recover. So I'm super excited. And the book is going to be called Reclaim Your Life Back. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy this video. Like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.